Hi there, I'm Ivan and welcome to the Bovenkamer for all your 80s and 90s fun. And today we'll have some really big fun with this beautiful Tandy TRS-80 model 2000. Strauss bitte! 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I have here the Tandy catalog from 1985 because in Belgium this computer was for sale in 1985. So we find it here in a configuration with a color screen. But 1985 was the perfect time to visit a Tandy retail store in Belgium because there were lots of different systems for sale at Tandy. For instance, this one, the TRS-80 Model 100, more like a tablet style computer, very portable. Then we have the Model 2000. Further on we have the Model 12, the TRS-80 Model 12. And a lot of printer devices. And if we go further in the catalog, there were also a lot of pocket computers, calculators, programmable calculators. They had BASIC inside. There was also the Coco and the Coco 2 already, the color computers. So you needed a television set for these ones. And even that's not all, there was also the Model 4 and the portable version of the Model 4 being the Model 4P. So what a time to visit a Tandy retail store, and what a beautiful catalog this is. So in the catalog we see that the Tandy 2000 is a very powerful MS-DOS system for professional applications. The basic version, 2 disk drives and 128K of memory, was around 4,000 euros. And there was a hard disk version also with a 10 megabyte internal hard disk and 256 kilobytes of memory for about 7,000 euros. So that was the price without the screen. So for the color screen you had to buy the color monitor first, 1,000 euros, 2 expansion cards, another 1,000 euros. So this configuration is about 9,000 euros. Oh yeah, and that's without the mouse, of course. And without software. Yeah. So you take your IBM software, no? No, because you really needed the Tandy 2000 version of software. So it's an MS-DOS system, but not really compatible with IBM XTs. But why is this machine so interesting? Because it has 8186 processor. It's very uncommon. I have no other computer, I have never seen another one with a 8186 processor, which is in fact some kind of advanced 8086. Check out Wikipedia for the details, okay? But it runs at 8 megahertz, so a faster clock rate than the 4 megahertz standards. So it's a lot faster than the IBM XT. And on top of that, these disk drives are quad density disk drives. Not double density, not high density, quad density. So this floppy can hold 720 kilobytes of data instead of 360. So I cannot use this floppy in any other PC I have in my Bovenkamer. It's really formatted on this machine, 720K storage on one floppy disk. That makes this computer really collectible and really rare to find, but almost unusable. Okay, so now I can show you some special features of this machine, and we'll have a look under the hood to see what's inside. First of all, there was a floor stand available at the time to put your main unit in this position, like so, next to your desk on the floor. And to make it look better, you could turn this thing over like so, that is also in the correct position. How cool is that? Have you ever seen that on another computer? I haven't. That's really cool. On the bottom we see this black metal plate on which the motherboard is mounted, and in front there is the keyboard connector, which I will remove for now. Okay, nice. And then on the back we see the parallel and serial ports, and of course the monitor connector. This is only for the monochrome monitor. So these metal plates here are actually expansion slots. You can take them out pretty easily, like this. Okay. And then there is room for expansion cards. Okay. As you can see, I have no expansion cards installed, but there were expansion cards available for graphics, color graphics, memory expansions, a board with a mouse connector and real-time clock, and so on. Interesting stuff, but unfortunately I don't have any of them. Okay, I will unscrew this thing a bit and we can have a look inside then. Okay, if you come a bit closer, I will show you what's inside. This whole thing here is the power supply. I already unscrewed some things, so this lid comes off and you can see the power supply itself with the capacitors. I replaced all the capacitors, so we are future proof here. This thing is the bay for the expansion cards. I also unscrewed it. This goes to the power supply and you can take these off, and as you can see, here are the expansion slots. And this is the connector to the motherboard that goes in right there. Okay, and this thing is the drive bay. Two disk drives are in this bay. This space here is good for a hard disk, which is not present in my machine. And if we disconnect all these things, then we can have a look at the motherboard. So these things comes off pretty easily. Like so. So this one is a bit difficult. I don't want to pull the wires because I don't want to damage the connector. Okay, got it. I should have studied to become a dentist. I turned over the case and removed some screws, and now we have access to the motherboard. I disconnect the drive cable, and here it is, the famous Tandy 2000 motherboard. And what immediately catches our attention is, of course, the 8186 processor, which has a square shape, pretty uncommon. It's the first time I saw it in my life. So what else do we see that's a bit special is this thing. This board is plugged on top of the motherboard, and it is a memory expansion of 128K. The motherboard itself also has 128K, so that makes a total of 256. As you can see, it's a very special configuration. These two boards click together with this connector, and then they fit onto the motherboard. I've never seen something like that before. It's really Tandy proprietary stuff. Okay, let's put everything back together and see how we can make this machine run. back together, all configured and connected, and let's see what happens if we power this one on. Here we go. So the thing is, it came with no disks, so I had absolutely nothing. But of course it is an MS-DOS computer, so the first thing I'm going to try is a DOS boot disk 3.3, and I use it for my XT computers. Since these floppy drives can read 360K disks, it might work. So let's reset. It says memory size 256K, so the memory check was alright, and let's reboot it with a boot floppy inside and see what happens. It's reading the disk. Oh, that's not a really good boot, isn't it? Okay, not working. Okay, so I have nothing to boot this computer with. I have to find a solution, but I found a internet site, tandy2000.com, where I could find image files, and I found an image file of DOS 2.11 especially made for Tandy 2000. To be honest, I tried this one before. This floppy will work, but I had to try different settings to burn this floppy with image disk. I had to burn a double density floppy with a high density disk drive with certain settings in image disk, and then this one boots up very nicely in MS-DOS 2.11, the version that came with a Tandy 2000. Okay, here we go. MS-DOS version 2.11.03, 1981-83, licensed to Tandy Corporation. Nice. So now that we're booted into DOS with a Tandy version, let's try some IBM software to run on it. First of all, I have this Lotus 123. It's version 2.01, copyrighted 1986. It is IBM compatible, so I hope this will do something. 1, 2, 3, go. It's reading the floppy. Okay. Well, it's a blank screen, but the floppy drive is still reading. Maybe we have to be patient a little bit more. Well, that's that, I guess. Maybe that's because we do not have graphics on this computer, and a spreadsheet is a lot of lines and cells to be drawn, so I guess this is just not working. Let's try something else. I have these IBM Professional Editor version 1.00, 1982. Let's try this one. Edit. So it's really reading the floppies because it can read the 360K floppies, but when the program starts to run, things go wrong. So again, we have just a blinking cursor in the top left corner of the screen, and that's it. So no luck either. So the last thing I will try is this Tandy's educational program. It came with a Tandy 1000. But it's a basic, it's written in basic, so maybe we have a chance here that things are working. It's an educational program to work with fractions. So let's try this one. It's very nice white floppy. Beautiful. Okay, we run the program Dolphin in BASIC. There goes the blank screen again, but the floppies are still reading stuff, so let's be patient. Yeah. Oh, look at this. There's some text on the screen. It's in Dutch, but it's for teachers, and it says what the student will be doing in the exercises. So we switch on the numlock, and it asks how many exercises do you want to make. Let's say 5 exercises. So now we have to hand over the keyboard to the student. Enter, and there we go. So some explanations. It says good luck. Alright, what is the KGV of 6 and 9? I don't know the English word for kleinste gemene veelvoud, but 6 and 9, let's do this, it's 18. What a nice music. Okay, now we have to calculate fractions. 2 over 6 equals question mark over 18. Let's give a wrong answer. 5. Oh. That's all wrong, man. That's not the right answer. Do I have to help? Please help me. And then it explains how you calculate this. 6 to 18 is multiplied by 3. So the correct answer is 3. Nice. And 6. Very well. So we have a working program that was not especially made for this Tandy 2000. So some basic programs really work on this. Of course you knew that already, because you saw in my intro there was a music song playing. It was actually the basic program music.bas that comes with a IBM DOS floppy version 3.3. I think there are some basic sample programs on it, and that was one of them. So last but not least, since it's a Tandy computer, we would like to run Deskmate II. Unfortunately, the images I got from the website of Tandy 2000 did not work on my configuration. That is, maybe I used the wrong brand of floppies, wrong image disk settings or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, I found someone who was kind enough to send me over the individual files, and I put them on this floppy disk, like so. I copied the files on that floppy disk and formatted it as a bootable floppy. So now I have a floppy that boots straight into Deskmate II. I can show you a small demonstration of Deskmate. I'm not an expert in Deskmate. I just tried a few things even without the manual. So we have a calendar here. Today is the 1st of January 1980, and we have some things to do today. I have to make an appointment with the accountant. These are managed with the F4 button and are actually alarms. On the Deskmate floppy there are some sample alarms already in the system. So as you can see here on the first line is the alarm that we set for the 1st January of 1980. We return to the main screen with the F12 key. So, and as you can see, it's some kind of integrated desktop system. It's before real Windows systems were there. It was some kind of integrated desktop with a calendar, events, text, worksheet. It's a spreadsheet, filer, telecom stuff with modem, calendars, planning in calendars, and even mails. So I have prepared a few small things to show you. This is the text processor, and I've been typing some things in my diary. So today is 2021 May, let's say 5th. I make a nice Deskmate demo today, exclamation mark. Okay, I have to get used to this keyboard. It's QWERTY most of the time. We have AZERTYs in Belgium. I made a nice Deskmate demo today. F12 to save to floppy and go back to the main screen. Yep, this is a worksheet. You can create a new worksheet by choosing a blank line here and press enter, and then the system will create a new file. So you are asked to be given a file name. We name it sheet. Okay, now it's empty and we can start entering numbers and formulas. So let's go back to the main screen and see if it saved sheet to our desktop. Well, there it is. Okay, I'm not sure what filer is. I have to check the manual. Maybe it's some sort of database thing, I don't know really. I entered a few trash things, nothing special. So maybe someone can tell me what to do with a filer. I'm not sure for now, so it's record keeping, I think. Telecom, if you have a modem, you can actually make connection with the world. Okay, these are all modem settings as you remember from decades ago. The baud rate, the default is 300. Data word length parity bits. Oh my god, that's really history, modems. What do we have next? The calendar. I made a calendar for myself. And on that calendar we see that, of course, 1st of January 1980. And here these stars mean that I have something to do on this day between those hours. Something like that. So on the 1st January between 4 and 5 in the afternoon, I will do Bovenkamer Tandy 2000 video editing. That's these 3 stars. Beautiful, isn't it? And on the 15th of January, I go shopping with Gerald, and Gerald is an imaginary friend of mine who I can use without problems in demos like Deskmate. Thanks, Gerald. Okay, and then we have mails. You see, mail is the last thing in the row, the least interesting in those times. Today mail will be in the first place, of course, but I have 2 messages, one named hotel. So this is actually a list of mails, and the first one I can display with F3. There we go. Hello, Mr. Schmidt. Can you please confirm my reservation for a double room? Please check in Friday 25th 1980. Check in February, of course, for 3 nights. Best regards, Ivan de Bovenkamer, for all your 80s and 90s fun. And the clerk at the hotel will be very surprised to see you can have fun about 80s and 90s because we are still January 1980. But who cares? It's something like Back to the Future or whatever. F12, save it. I didn't change anything, so let's go back. Is there something more interesting to show? No, I don't think so. So if I leave the system with F12, everything is saved to the floppy, and next time I start up Deskmate, everything will still be there. But if I ruin this floppy, I will lose everything. So that's it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed my video. Please subscribe to the Bovenkamer so that you can have more 80s and 90s fun in the future. Have a good one.